So you want to know the ins and outs of managing your money. Well, lucky for you, you're just in time for another episode of Master Your Finances with certified financial planner professional Kurtis Baker. Kurt and his panel of experts are here for you and will cover topics from a legal and personal standpoint. They'll discuss tax efficiency, liability, owning, managing, and saving your money, and more. Master Your Finances is underwritten in part by Certified Wealth Management and Investment and Rutgers University. Rutgers offers continuing studies programs for adults who need flexibility. Want to add new skills to your resume? Take a continuing studies course at Rutgers University. Now, let's learn how we can better change our habits with Kurtis Baker.
Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Master Your Finances presented by Certified Wealth Management and Investment. I'm Kurtis Baker, a certified financial planner professional located in Princeton, New Jersey. I can be reached at our website, which is www.cwmi.us, or you can call me directly at 609-716-4700. This week, very pleased to have with us Tim Wright, who personifies the meaning more than an athlete. Throughout his career at Rutgers University as a student athlete, he maintained high honors with a niche focus in sociology. After graduating, he went on to the NFL, earning record-breaking success and was instrumental in winning a Super Bowl with a world-class organization in the New England Patriots, catching 6 touchdowns from legendary Tom Brady during that season. Wright is a visionary and strategic thinker who is in sync with the social behavior and societal trends. Being an entrepreneur and enthusiast of the world's most successful business models has afforded him insight and foresight to implement strategies that optimize consumer engagement and market growth. His understanding of consumer psychology and business tactics help deliver productivity and successful outcomes. Wow, you got a lot going on there, Tim, and you look a little bit younger than me. So,
Hey, thank you for that extraordinary introduction, Kurt.
you've done a lot, sir, and I know you're just getting warmed up, man. Right? You're just getting warm. Warm-ups are up, right?
Yes.
So, long lives ahead of you. So, yeah, you've done a heck of a lot. So, you want to give us maybe a little bit of background on what you're all about, and I guess you're from Jersey, right? So we're both Jersey boys, it sounds like.
Yes, we are.
Tell us a little bit of that background.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Neptune, New Jersey, right down in the shore. And I was very fortunate to have a lot of family members that contributed to my upbringing. I had all 4 of my grandparents who lived down the street from one another. My parents, aunts and uncles, cousins, and relatives that really poured into me. And me being the only child, I was the main focus of we have to pour into him and allow him to have a successful outcome. And I'm very grateful for that. I was raised in a church, so I'm a God-fearing man, and God is the center of everything that I do. But growing up, I was a leader. I naturally was a magnet to people who connected with the things that I had going on, whether it was on a playing field on football and doing football or basketball, or just being in the streets and playing and having creative ideas, and people just loved what I did. My friends always wanted to be around me. And then going through school, I really loved doing artwork. I love drawing. I love having the best projects, having the best handwriting. And every time the teacher would say, okay, it's time to do a project, all my classmates would raise their hand and they would want to be in my group because they knew what type of effort and what type of grade that could potentially come out of it. So I love that, right? And when I used to draw at home, my grandparents and my parents used to put my artwork on the wall. So that was kind of like that reinforcement that they cared. And that was really critical for how I viewed myself. And growing up, I used to follow my grandparents around the yard landscaping. So at the age of 4, that's when I really started getting out there. And my grandparents worked full-time jobs, but they loved being in the yard, and they loved taking a yard that looked, it was disarray, and then all of a sudden turned into something immaculate and beautiful. That took vision. And that's where every time I followed them, I saw what the yard looked like before. And we'll put in 4 or 5 hours of work under the sun and hot heat, sweating, and all the hard work it took and then you have a beautiful yard that can last for several days, and then you go right back to it. So that was like that repetition of hard work, of vision, and being very satisfied of the signature that you put on any of the work that you've done. So at the age of 13, I had my dad used to take me to the barber shop every week, and I would get a haircut. And I experienced a bad haircut, and my dad said, "You know what? We're gonna buy a pair of clippers, and this is never gonna happen again." And he brought those clippers, and I'm like, it was sitting in my room, and I'm like, I'm confident in my skills. I'm an artist, right? At the age, I believe I'm an artist. I work in doing landscaping, so I make things look beautiful, following my grandparents and how they want things done. I said, I'm gonna go grab those clippers and I'm gonna give it my shot on myself, right? I sat on the counter, cut my hair the conventional way, and when that haircut came out, I said, I'm never looking back. And so from that point on, every 3 days, I started cutting my hair because I fell in love with it. It was like it was art for me. And all of a sudden, my friends started knocking on the door, like, "Hey Tim, can you give me a haircut? Can you give me a hair?" So next thing you know, I had a whole line of my friends in the living room, in the kitchen, and they was lined up waiting to get a haircut. So at the age of 13, that literally started business for me. Like I was a businessman at 13. Then every season of that year, whether it was winter, I would pick up a shovel, knock on doors, and go shovel snow. Whether it was like fall, I would be raking leaves. Whether it was summer, I would be cutting grass. So I knew what hard work and hustle was, and I knew how to manage business, manage my time, and be responsible. And that carried on to high school. I kept doing it. And next thing you know, I earned my way to having over a dozen full scholarships by my junior year of high school. And I grew up on a street named Rutgers that was right in Neptune. And Neptune's high school name was Neptune Scarlet Flyers. And then my junior year, I had to end up transferring because the coach at Neptune, the football coach, I think he resigned at the time, and so we went months on end without a coach. And I was, of course, having success in football, and I said I want to pursue this and take it to the next level. So I have to be under some guidance of a coach that could get me there. So I said I need to transfer, and I ended up transferring to Wall Township High School, and their high school name was Wall Crimson Knights. And so when it came time for me to choose the college, I said, all right, who is it going to be? And when you look in the DNA of my upbringing, it spells out Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And I said, there's no other place for me to go. I can't, right?
You didn't change any clothes, right? You had the right colors already, right? You're good
exactly.
to go.
Red and black. Red was always in there. So I ended up going to Rutgers, and it was a shell-shocking experience because, all throughout my years, I was used to being a captain, used to being a starter, used to performing well, and just having all the accolades that came with it. But my freshman year at Rutgers, I had a red shirt, and I was behind some of the Jersey greats that played wide receiver there. So it was an enjoyable time because I got to learn, and I was always a coachable athlete. I always learned from who was excelling in a position in front of me, and the tips I could take and apply to my game. So juggling being a red shirt now on a college campus is a whole new world. No family, no parents around me. It's just me being responsible and doing what I had to do. It was a bumpy road in the beginning, but I always had my eyes on the prize, right? And I wanted to excel in everything I did. So once I got over the learning curve, I started taking off in my second year, and all of a sudden, right at the brink of me breaking out, we're in training camp in 2010. I run a route at the end of practice. I go for a contested ball. The DB rakes over my back, and literally he twists me around when we're supposed to stay on our feet. ACL gone.
Ooh.
Season gone. So that was extremely tough because I've heard about ACLs in the past, but it never was in my mind that I would get hurt or any of that stuff. I'm out there performing, and in one split play, my entire season was derailed, and it was done. So now I had to go battle adversity, come back. Who knows how I would come back in terms, can I still perform and compete on a D1 playing field? And I just clicked in. I had my support cast around me, which was my family. They're 40 minutes away. I got to still visit them while I was, going through that process. And I got right back on my feet. And I came out that following year. I earned my way to having. I was a captain. I had 2 games as a captain my junior year, and I caught my first 2 touchdowns. And then that following year, which was my senior year, I had an exceptional year, like about 40 catches, another 2 touchdowns. And this opportunity of NFL started to come into the mix. And so I said, you know what? Although the odds are stacked against me, I'm going to still go give it a shot. I believe in myself. God is leading me, and let's go make it happen. And so I'll leave that right there in a sense, so we could definitely dive into the full NFL picture. But overall, my background, it was definitely a blessing to be able to stay close to home, to have so many people that was pouring into my life, and to be able to exercise the things that I was passionate about, whether that was cutting hair, whether that was landscaping and building with my grandparents, whether that was going to church and doing activities with them, or just being a kid, and having a clean nose, not really getting into trouble other than, the things we do as young children, and, slap on the wrist type of stuff. But I enjoyed my upbringing. I love Jersey. I bleed Jersey. I bleed red, like all of those things. So it was a really cool experience to be able to come up at the Jersey Shore, all the things that we have around us. And as I'm traveling through my journey, it will always be a special place inside of me, for sure.
Wow, that's an incredible journey. I mean, I love the foundation that you had with
Thank
the
you.
adversity. Every time you manage to kind of keep your eye going forward, right? Which is really hard to do. And I think the
Yes.
one thing that kind of stuck out to me, kind of being an older guy here, is that you were coachable, you said, right? And I
Yes.
think a lot of people don't realize the importance of that statement, because no matter how good you are, right, the top people in business, the top people in athletics, the top people in every single aspect of life,
Correct.
they're all coachable.
All
They're all
cool.
willing to listen to other people. In fact, you hear the top business people actually coach each other. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just amazing how, even when you get these really, really high levels, a lot of people don't understand the basics is learn from others. You can't live 20 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, but you can certainly get together with 20 or 30 or 100 lifetimes and assemble that back together, and take advantage of that and look at what they've learned, and during their adversity. Amazing
Absolutely.
story. You're listening to Master Your Finance. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
This is Master Your Finances with Kurt Baker, Certified Financial Planner Professional. Learn about tax efficiency, liability, owning, managing, and saving your money, and more from Kurt and his experienced panel of guests. Master Your Finances is underwritten in part by Certified Wealth Management and Investment and Rutgers University. Rutgers University offers flexible education for adult learners. For more information, it's rider.edu/nextstep.
Welcome back. You're listening to Master Your Finance. I'm Kurt Baker here with Tim Wright, and you just went through an awesome story and your childhood growing up. You had a great support system. A lot of family members gave you a lot of positive reinforcement, which kind of,
Yes.
plus you had nice background with the church, and just all
Yeah.
kinds of base things that are important. And had adversity, which I think is interesting. So I think a lot of times we learn a lot more from adversity than we do from success, right? So the torn ACL, I'm sure, kind of tested a lot of those foundational things you had, but you overcame it, which is
Absolutely.
amazing. So, and as we know, statistically, the odds are probably against you.
Mm.
And now you're up in, the elite of the elite, and kind of give us that description as you were getting through your career at Rutgers,
Right.
kind of what happened during those last phases and how you ended up in the NFL. And I know you had an amazing career. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Thank you. Absolutely, Kurt. So, um, coming to the rear end in a sense of my college career at Rutgers, I knew that there was something called the NFL, right? And if you worked hard enough and you had
Heard
enough,
about that, huh?
I heard about it. It was something out there. I used to watch it growing, but
Up on Sunday, I don't know, Sat, whatever, right?
it's
So
something that happens on Sundays and all that. But yes, but coming to my final year, I spent 5 years at Rutgers, and I got hurt in the middle of my career at Rutgers, tore my ACL out for the year, learned a lot, came back and performed well. And the odds were still stacked against me because I didn't have a elite career at Rutgers, but I had one that was representative of someone who could play. I had the size. I was 6'4", 220 coming out of Rutgers. So I said, let me give this a shot. Although the odds are stacked against me, I believe in myself. I believed in all the things that were poured into me in my upbringing. Let me go for it. And so during the draft process, which happens in April, I had a couple leads that were saying maybe you could get drafted in the late rounds. It's a far shot, but we'll see. I ended up not getting drafted, and as soon as the draft ended, all of these teams started calling me, and they're asking for my basic information because if they pick up the phone and call me, then I have the option to go to whatever team I want that wants me. And so I ended up narrowing it down to a couple teams, Oakland and Tampa Bay. And at that time in 2013, the year before Greg Schiano had left Rutgers and he took the job in Tampa Bay. And so Greg Schiano was in Tampa Bay with probably 60% of the coaches that was with him while I was at Rutgers. So it was like almost a second home opportunity. Where Oakland, which is on the other side of the country from where I'm growing up, it was, Sunshine State, sound pretty cool, but the team also was just not doing well. And I was like, do I really want to go all the way over there? High taxes. This is finance, right? A lot of taxes. Cost of living is crazy. And so I said, you know what? Let me go down where it's tax-free. Sunshine State of Tampa Bay and Florida. And I said, Coach, I'm going to join you. I want to come down there. And I went down there for a tryout. And this was rookie camp. I was a wide receiver. And I wore number 18. And I went out there. I performed and worked hard under those conditions. But it was my preparation that gave me a shot.
Right.
I ended up, solidifying my place in the group of the rookies that they wanted to bring back for OTAs. So OTAs then happens in May, I believe, May through matter of fact, at the middle of April all the way to the middle of June.
So just for the audience, what are OTAs, if you don't mind?
OTA stands for Organized Training Activities.
Okay, good.
So this is like, we run around in shorts and a helmet, and this is where we start to just get loose and kind of get the chemistry down before we go into the grunt of training camp. And so in OTAs, it was about 2 weeks in, and Coach Schiano says, hey, Tim, I need you up in my office tomorrow. I want to talk to you about something. So when a coach brings you up to an office, it's either they're going to tell you you're getting cut.
Good or bad, right?
Most of the time it's not good. Most of the time
right.
It's bad. He brings me up and he says, hey, Tim, I'm looking at the roster, and I think your best shot to have, to really make this team and to be able to prove yourself is if I switch your position from wide receiver to tight end.
Oh.
And at this time, the versatile tight end really just got put on the map. And, a few players, I wouldn't say their names, but a few players kind of really solidified that quicker tight end, more agile player. And he just thought that I had the framework and I had the heart to put on muscle. I had the brain to learn the playbook and learn a whole new, chemistry to be able to perform. Right. And I could go out there and have a shot to do it. And I said, Coach, let's do it. I was 220. I was 21, 22 years old. And I walk in the tight end room. There's 6 other tight ends. These guys are 29, 33, Pro Bowlers, all pro players, 4 kids. I'm walking in like, okay.
A little intimidating, maybe?
A little intimidating. But you know what? I said, they're a player just like me.
Right.
If they could learn it, I could learn it. If they could do it, I could do it. And what I did was I got in there, got in the huddle, learned what I needed to learn. I had some incredible coaches that helped me. I got out there on the field. I performed when I needed to, and I got invited to training camp. We get to training camp. But between OTAs and training camp, that break, I worked harder than anybody on the planet, right? I came in there in shape, outran everybody, and I studied that playbook so hard that when I got out of that huddle and lined up, the game felt slow to me. I had the uphill battle of outperforming 6 other guys to make the team. They only keep 2 or 3 tight ends, and it was 7 of us on that roster, and I only had a few weeks to do it. I outperformed those guys. I end up making a team at the end of training camp. I mean, it's grueling every day, over 100 degrees in Tampa with humidity, hands sweaty, balls is wet. So you like it was under the craziest conditions, but I
So how
believe
do the other older guys feel about all that, right? I mean, if I'm an older guy and I'm 33 and this kid comes in, I mean,
listen, it's the
they
game.
just, okay, fine, you got it? Or are they like, hey,
Exactly.
man,
Listen, it's a performance-based
there
business.
you go.
It's business, that's sports, whatever it is.
Yeah,
If you're
that's
not
a great
performing,
equalizer, right? Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Next guy up, right? So I
Right.
balled out. I made the special teams,
Excellent.
and I was the third tight end on the roster. So I didn't play much at the tight end position, but I was on the special teams.
Mm.
4 games into the season, we had an injury or two at tight end, and I won the starting position in the 4th game of my rookie year. And from that point on, I never looked back. And I ended up breaking the franchise record in Tampa for 5 touchdowns and having, what was that, 54 catches in that season, tying the record for the last decade of catches by a rookie tight end.
Amazing.
I came in there and balled out. Like, next thing you know, I'm driving to my little old apartment in Tampa Bay, and I got it was billboards with my face on it in Tampa. I'm on radio shows, I'm in commercials, and it's like people started buying my jersey. It was just overnight, but the work that I put in every day in the dark led to that. So when the lights cut on, I shine.
Yeah,
And
that's the part people don't understand is that all they just see the end product, right?
that's all they see.
They see the end product. Go, man, he's so talented. He's so this. He's so that. And that's true. You have talent, right?
Yes,
But anybody that I've ever known that's hugely successful,
correct.
it's like 90% effort, man. You might have a little talent thrown in there,
Right.
but it's effort. It's
Yes,
effort work. Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an athlete, no matter what you are.
absolutely.
Michael Jordan, he was kicked off his high school
Yep,
basketball team, right?
there you go.
He said, I don't know about that, man. I think I'm gonna keep working, right?
Keep working.
You gotta
Absolutely.
work beats all, right?
And boom. Like one of the coolest things was, like, the story of how all of a sudden the rookies in my lot, my teammates that were also rookies, these guys, most of these guys were drafted, and I was a free agent walking through the door. And just the response that I got from people, the praise in a sense, and the stardom, that fan engagement, it was just really cool. But I was humbled through that whole thing. I kept my head down, and I didn't really like pay attention to all the noise. I just knew I had to go out there and perform. That was my job.
Right.
But here's where things got interesting, and I'll keep this real concise in all of this in the respects to that. I'm going into my second year. I had this outstanding rookie year. I'm on the field in training camp. This was 2 days before the final cuts. I get a tap on my shoulder from the GM. And he's like, "Tim, is that your helmet on the ground?" This is pre-practice. We're catching balls, like a few of us are out there warming up. Guys are coming out the locker room. And he's like, "Take a walk with me." 2 days before final cuts. And everybody's looking like, no way. What's about that? Like, I'm walking like, what's going on? Like, like trying to lean in. Like, he said, "Tim," because this is when Shiano and the whole staff got fired. So they brought in a whole new regime, right? And he said, "Tim, we appreciate what you've done since we've been here. It's only a short time, like 3 or 4 months. We appreciate what you've done, but we're going to trade you to the New England Patriots." When he said trade me, it was like the world stopped, because on the following side of that, it's like, okay, where am I going?
Right.
And he said, "We're going to trade you to the New England Patriots." And in 3 hours, I had to pack up what I had in the locker room, go to my home where my wife and my son was, tell them, pack up the house, we're going into New England. And by 5 o'clock, I got told this at 2 p.m. By 5 o'clock, I was on a plane into New England.
Wow.
Literally.
Now, were you scared? You excited? I mean, what was that feeling you had then?
I was ecstatic.
Yeah, there you go.
Playing video games, coming up, playing Madden, using the Patriots and Tom Brady, and you telling me I'm about to go line up in the same huddle with the GOAT and potentially catch passes from him.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
like, I was super excited. My name on the ticker of ESPN. my phone blowing up from everybody, text messages. It was just all over. It was all over. So it was super exciting. Super exciting.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
that's just amazing. We're gonna take another quick break. You're listening to Master Your Finances. We'll be right back.
This is Master Your Finances with Kurt Baker, certified financial planner professional. Learn about tax efficiency, liability, owning, managing, and saving your money, and more from Kurt and his experienced panel of guests. Master Your Finances is underwritten in part by Certified Wealth Management and Investment and Rutgers University. Rutgers University offers flexible education for adult learners. For more information, it's rider.edu/nextstep.
Welcome back. You're listening to Master Your Finance. I'm Kurt Baker here with Tim Wright, and you just got traded to play with Tom Brady, huh? How was that? Huh? That good?
Yeah, that was incredible, man. So context, right?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, my rookie year was the worst team record-wise.
Right.
And New England Patriots always at that time with the GOAT in the back running the ship, they always finished, in the top, if not winning a Super Bowl. So when he mentioned that you're going to get traded to New England, like literally the world stopped. I'm on a plane. I land in New England. On the drive to the facility, all you heard was, Tim Wright, who? Logan Minkins. Logan Minkins is a Pro Bowler, like future Hall of Famer, protector, offensive lineman for Tom Brady, and they trade us, right?
Yeah.
So Tampa Bay needed a lineman, and New England was looking for that second tight end like they used to have. So now it's me and Gronk. So I'm hearing all this on the radio, just kind of laughing at it, but I had this feeling inside that I'm going to win the Super Bowl this year. I literally felt that from the moment he said New England and everything that clicked. I'm riding off the high of my rookie year, and I'm saying, I'm putting my head right back down to work, and I'm going to work even harder and perform even better. I walk in the building, and this sensation just jumped in my body like, this place wins football games. This place is this is like the most elite football team and franchise in sports that you can get. And I felt it. I walk in the meeting room, Bill Belichick, Timmy Wright, happy you're here. He said, we're going to get you going for the game tomorrow. You got to learn 60 plays overnight. And you got to show us what you can do. I said, oh boy, here we go. So they was like,
plays overnight. Oh boy.
60 plays overnight. Tim, follow me into the locker room. Let's go meet Tom. Let's meet the guys. I walk in the locker room. I'm passing Hall of Famers. I'm passing, Pro Bowl player. I'm passing all of these like superstars. And all of a sudden I beeline my eyes right to Tom Brady. And I'm like, yo, that's the GOAT. Like he's texting in his locker and they say, hey, Tom, look who's here. He turned around. He threw his phone in his locker. He stood up. He said, Timmy Wright, I know exactly who you are. I watched your film. Let's go win this. Let's go get it done. And I look up and my locker is right next to Tom Brady.
Ooh.
So they give me my stuff. They bring me in the back. They're like, what number you want? I said, 81. Of course. That's my number. Yeah. I sat down and I'm just like occasionally glancing over. Like I'm sitting next to the GOAT and I'm like strapping up my cleats and like getting ready for practice. And I had to learn 60 plays overnight. They threw me the first pass in the last preseason game. Wow. And it was just it was history from there. I had an amazing game. I proved myself. First game comes around versus the Dolphins. I catch the first down of the season. Several games later, I catch my first touchdown from the GOAT. And then I went on a streak of 5 games with catching 6 touchdowns from the GOAT. And it was just like, it was a phenomenal experience. We got to the Super Bowl. That week of the Super Bowl was insane. When I tell you it was stars and lights everywhere, like I can't under or overstate that. It was stars and lights everywhere. Interview cameras in your face, mics in your face, helicopters flying and transporting you over top, state troopers everywhere you go, secure, like celebrities, superstar, like everything, right? The national anthem, the jets flying over the top, the snapping of the ball, the game up and down, like back and forth. It was a slug match. And then that interception. And now you guys can't see this, but you can hear it. Oh, I got this heavy Super Bowl on my Super Bowl ring on my hand right now. And it was just like the capping off of a pinnacle of what these guys, like literally there might be only 1,200 people that's walking this earth that has a Super Bowl ring. And it's 1% and maybe less of people who got to ever play in the National Football League. So for me to be able to achieve that, again, I credit it all to and give all praise to the man above for this opportunity. And it was just so fortunate. But that journey and doing that, man, it was incredible to really kind of cap off the height that I reached in the NFL. Because after that, I ended up in that the year basically coming into OTAs right after the Super Bowl, halfway through, I ended up getting waived, which is basically getting released or cut.
Mhm.
I ended up a day later back in Tampa Bay. And all the radio people and people, he's back. Is it Tim Wright is back? And all of a sudden, one day before the end of training camp, I get traded again from the same front office, and now I'm in Detroit. I go to Detroit. Matthew Stafford, one of the best quarterbacks I ever played with. I hope he wins the Super Bowl this Sunday, right? Or let's call it today. I hope he wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I hope he brings it home. And I go through that season. I caught 9 passes, had 2 touchdowns. So my touchdown to catch ratio was insane. I ended my career with 13 touchdowns. But something started to creep in, and it was that entrepreneurial bug that I planted at the age of 13. And I knew, hey, look, NFL stands for not for long. I'm seeing guys being released and cut and traded and ended up in different cities, different teams, performances going up and down. And it's the reality of professional sports. It stands for not for long, right? So that's where, going into my 4th year, the first play of OTAs, I line up and I tear my ACL once again. And when you tear your ACL in the NFL, it's not a good look, right? I still came back. I still, battled the adversity. I felt like I came back even stronger. But the last 2 years of my career, I spent 6 years in the NFL. The last 2 years of my career, I battled to try to get on a team. I had some very, very unfortunate minor tweak with muscle injuries that kind of derailed my performance in training camp. And when I tore my ACL that 4th year, I went back on campus at Rutgers, and I opened up the first barbershop hair salon called the Wright Cut. And that's the first shop on any major campus in the country. And so that was a legacy piece for me. But what I learned through that journey of literally a business model that's never been done. When you hear barbershop, you think, okay, yeah, Cornerstone, I go to barbershop. No, this is a business model that can be replicated and put on any major campus in the country. And we know the location, the market size, the people that are coming in every year, people that are going out every year, people that are remaining alumni and they stay within the area of their school. These are repeat customers, and the opportunity has been incredible. So I just celebrated my 5th year of the Wright Cut having its doors open. And coming out of the NFL, I was able to get granted an opportunity of a lifetime with Dome Audio. And now I'm the co-founder of Dome Audio, and it's a multi-patented revolutionary headphone technology. And we use bone conduction transducers, which allows you to hear your music, take your phone calls, while still having this open ear experience to where you can hear the world around you at the same time. But with the technology that my partner, Ben White, created, we have this interchangeable component that you attach to the headphone, and it blocks out the outside world. So it gives you the option whether you want to have an open ear or a closed ear experience. But on the face of the dome cover is what really attracted me, and with my background in sociology and all the consumer feedback that I got with cutting hair since the age of 13. Has been 18 years now since I've been cutting hair. Doing it is something that I love. It's art. I've been cutting my hair every week. I cut my children's hair. But what that allowed me to do was understand the way that the world works. It gave me a really personal ability to be able to connect with people and get this feedback from them on what they like, what they love, what's moving the world in their eyes. And I'm able to apply that. And what our dome covers, it's a blank canvas. And it allows us to collaborate with brands and celebrities and organizations around the world where they can put their own logo on the dome cover, and now consumers can wear the brands that they are passionate about, that they have an emotional connection to, or that they just straight up love. So
So
now people can wear this headphone and move about their life and have an expression with something that's fashionable and a utility that's a safer listening experience, and it's something that's so unique that it gives you options that's never been presented
can you
before.
tell me a little bit? I kind of get the right cuts. I got that
Yeah,
one because you did it when you were 13, and right, and you found an opportunity to open it up. Can you
yeah.
tell us a little bit about how you met your
My
you know,
partner Ben, yes,
yeah, how you met him and how that whole thing happened? Because obviously you're an NFL player, make a pretty good paycheck probably. So, you know, I'm sure you had a lot of people making like, "Hey, man, put your money here, put your money there." And I
right,
gotta say two things here. One is it's amazing that you did that, and two, a lot of these pro athletes are it's famous for them being broke, you
yeah,
know, a couple years out of being making significant amounts of money. So you
absolutely.
want to speak a little bit to both those, if you don't mind. Let's start off with the area of
How
how
we
did you
bring it back.
connect? And why did
Yes,
you decide to go this way?
yes.
With all
So
the people coming to you, probably.
no question, no question. So just for quick context, I love fashion, I love art, I love music. So I'm a closet DJ, right? Like I DJ my family's parties. Like I just love music. I always had the playlist in the locker room to get our friends hype. And from a fashion standpoint, I was always the best dressed, right? So the fashion element, the music element, the technology, and me being a visionary, when we connected with another project that he was working on. But this segued into the headphones, and his background in the music industry for 25 years. He has that ear for sound, and he
Mhm.
also has a passion for tech development. So this is a credit to him producing multiple patents on the technology in the headphone that we have. So our synergy as people, and understanding that this was a connection and blessing from above. This is mission work for us with Dome Audio, and we're in this to make an impact. And we have an opportunity, since this is finance, I just want to mention this, where we are raising capital right now. So anyone that's interested in this mission that we have to impact the way the world experiences sound, they can reach out to me at tim.wright@domeaudioinc.com, and they can connect and they can be a part of our founding investors. And our mission is to take this, the IP, the brands that we connect with, and the impact that we'll make, and position it for an acquisition within the next several years. So that's what we're doing. That's the full encompassing work of my mission as an entrepreneur, what I'm doing today. And it's just, all the things that I learned through my NFL career, my upbringing, I'm applying it to what I'm doing. And I'm going to win a Super Bowl in business with this opportunity. So I'm
I,
excited to be able to drive it, man.
I'm sure you are, Tim.
Thank
We're
you.
coming up on another quick break. You're listening to Master Your Finances. We'll be right back.
This is Master Your Finances with Kurt Baker, certified financial planner professional. Learn about tax efficiency, liability, owning, managing, and saving your money, and more from Kurt and his experienced panel of guests. Master Your Finances is underwritten in part by Certified Wealth Management and Investment and Rider University. Rider University offers flexible education for adult learners. For more information, it's rider.edu/nextstep.
Welcome back. You're listening to Master Your Finance. I'm Kurt Baker here with Tim Wright. And what an amazing career as a young person, 13 years old, starting your first business, going on campus and expanding at Wright Cuts.
Yes.
Amazing NFL career. You got kind of this dream thing going on. But I'd love for you to speak, if you don't mind, a little bit. I mean, you talked a little bit about how you got connected with Dome Audio. I mean, you had a passion for it, which I think is always critical, right? You want to have a passion for what you're doing.
Right.
And just can you give us the kind of an idea of like how you're maybe a little different than your typical pro athlete out there? Because I mean, I hear stories and read about how these people make significant amounts of money, and then before you know it, they're broke.
Yes.
I mean, Muhammad Ali was the one, Mike Tyson was one who was famous, right? You
Right.
make these huge multi-million-dollar fights, and before you know it, the guy's broke again.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
can you talk about that just a little bit of the culture and how you kind of went against the grain a little bit?
Absolutely. So, I mean, how I'm wired is a testament to my upbringing.
Mhm.
And it's a testament to the values and principles that was poured into me by my family members, right? So I've always stayed on track with that, and it's so deeply ingrained in me that I know no other way. But I'm very fortunate that growing up, I had a big imagination, and when you're older as a either a businessman, an entrepreneur, now they call that a vision, right? So I kind of morphed from having an imagination to a vision, and then being able to manifest anything that I put my mind to. But that I feel is the key ingredient for myself, where most guys who reach the professional ranks growing up, they were always either the best player on the team, the best player in their town, the best player in their district, the best player in their state. And then when they got to the NFL, you're alongside some of the best guys who had the same path and journey, right? So there was no other reason for most guys to say, I need to think about something else as well. Or the exposure of, what did I have any other interests growing up that exposed me to other things that I may love once I'm an adult or once I finish my career? Those are critical things that I was fortunate to have in my journey, where I got exposed to landscape and what hard work was. I got exposed to art. I got exposed to music. I got exposed to cutting hair and those different things. And I love those things. And that always carried through with me alongside of being a high school player, a college player, and then going into the NFL. And the thing that really triggered life outside of the lines were my injuries,
Mm.
and knowing that this could be taken from you at any time. And in 2 points of my career, and one in college, one in the NFL, my entire season was wiped away just like that. So I had to really focus on what could I do with my life, and what were my interests outside of, once I'm done, what will that next chapter look like? So for guys who are in the NFL who have 10, 15-year careers, make a whole lot of money through that, you're always gonna, you're getting fed these luxury items. And money is all relative, because you can have $10 million, but you could be presented with a $5 million or $4 million home. You buy that, like you said, you could buy a few Lamborghinis. You're taking care of a few family members. Next thing you know, you're left with limited amount of resources. So I know and I understood that, yes, if I invest in myself early, that it's going to be something that I'm passionate about, and it can eventually pay off. So I invested in the time I spent to educate myself on big business. I invested into being an entrepreneur and creating a very feasible model that can win with the right cut. And then the chances that I took with Dome Audio, me and my partner, him believing it, me believing in it, and then us connecting like that, it was just a perfect match. And it was something that I felt was delivered from above. And I knew to go continue to stay on that pursuit. So that's kind of like my mentality. That's my observation of your typical things that you see with professional athletes. Why they may go broke is because they're fed those items.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anything else like really that interests them other than having a long, spectacular career. And then next thing you know, if you don't keep that thing going, the well is going to dry up, and that's what happens.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. So, anything for the young people there that are on this trajectory where they are like the top person in their high
Absolutely.
school, and they're throwing, my career is going to be NFL,
Right.
but they got to understand the stats. Right?
Yes. Yes.
What are your thoughts about somebody that says, no, 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 man, this is what I'm going to do. That's it. That's all they
Correct.
think about.
I will ask them the question, what are the other things that you love?
Mm.
What are your other passions? What are your other interests? And at the same time, while you're on that pursuit of NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, whatever that sport is, also expose yourself to new things, or things that piques your interest within what you're passionate about. Put yourself in those positions, put yourself in small clubs or activities, or go into these platforms now where you can have open conversations and ask questions. Look outside the lines, look off the platform or the grid, the court and the grid. Like, look outside of those things so that you can have and you can pursue those other interests, just in fact, if that career ends early, or that cut happens and you can never get back on a team, or if you never make it in an NFL, NBA, those things happen. Everybody has these high hopes, but you got to have those other things in line. So it's not a fallback. It's just life. You got to have those other things in place to be able to pursue and give yourself a shot. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, no, that is great advice. So I know you're just a positive guy overall, that's for sure. So
Thank you.
you want to give us some advice on what keeps you positive, like when you get the ACL injury? I mean, I know we all have this. I mean, you're down, you're like, oh
Yes.
man, this really stinks.
Yes.
So you got to go. I mean, so how do you process that? Because you obviously came out great.
Yes.
We can help other people that when adversity strikes. It's
Right.
a lot of that's about, well, how do you turn it and keep going, right? Because
Yes.
we're all going to get those roadblocks and get those bumps in the road. So you got some advice for people when they do hit that kind of adversity in life and how to keep going, right? How to just
Yes.
keep it rolling.
Absolutely. So turbulence is inevitable. It's inevitable. What football in sports, anyone who has a sport background, I think football may be one of the best comparisons or like analogies in a sense of life, because you literally get knocked down on your back whether you want it to or not. If you're inside those lines and that whistle is blown and that ball is hiked, you might be on your back. And in life, you go and get knocked on your back and you can't avoid it. Whether it's a bump or it's I'm a power drive you to the ground and put my shoulder in your chest. That's life, right? You're gonna have those bumps, you're gonna have bigger bumps, smaller bumps, you're gonna have those roller coaster dips. It's gonna happen. So knowing that, you gotta get back up. No one's gonna feel sorry for you. Once you leave mommy or daddy's house after 18, there's no one going to be there to hold your hand, right? That's when the reality hits. And then once you're in real life, if you take that step of faith and become an entrepreneur or a businessman, or even in the field of being an employee or working for someone under their umbrella, it's gonna happen. But you got to continue to have your eyes set on the prize, and whatever that mission is at hand, you got to continue to pursue it. And that's what I realized, and I knew, yeah, there's times where you can really feel the grunt end of it and say, you know what, this is a breakdown moment for me. I either got to cry this out, I either got to lean on a relative, my brother, my sister, my mom or dad, or my husband or wife or girlfriend, boyfriend. Talk it through, get it off your chest. But after that, when you wake up that next day, that clock is ticking, right? Like that clock is one thing that, that we all work on around. The clock is always ticking for us. And it's the way that you pursue it, it's the way that you get back up, the mentality that you have to go to still go achieve the goal that you have in mind. And you could do it. Whether you shoot for the moon and land on the stars, it is what it is. That's a success for you. So I feel like in the pursuit, you discover. So what that means is you may have your eyes set on what you want that end result to be, or what you want to achieve as a goal. You may not know at your starting point how to get there and how to do it. But as long as you pursue, there's things that you'll land on, there's things that you'll realize, there's resources that may come about that it's connected tissue to your end result. And so in your pursuit, you will discover. And that's a mantra that I live by every single day. So what we're doing with this technology in our company Dome, we're creating a new class and category of headphone.
Mm-hmm.
It's familiar, it's an headphone. It's something that the entire world can use and experience. People with limitations with hearing, people with limitations with visual impairment, it doesn't matter. Normal hearing, everyone can use this headphone technology, but it's something new. And we have to create a model that can resonate and connect with people and be accessible for them to be able to use it. When we started this and built this model, all we knew was we want to create a headphone from scratch, a new category, and we want to get it to the end user. How do we build this entire model step for step? We don't have all the answers, but we pursued it, and we're discovering along the journey. And that's the DNA for every company out there. There may be a blueprint, but you're unique and you got to make that thing work. You may have the ingredients for the recipe, you still got to cook it right and make it work. And so that's just the overall concept of life is set your mark, you got your goal, you got an objective, you got to pursue it. You're never going to have the answers. It's going to be a rough road. It's going to be rocky. It's going to be turbulent. Set your eyes on the prize. Get back up when you get knocked down, and you'll make it work.
Tim, you're an amazing guy, and you got an amazing story, man. I'm going to see a lot from you. I can guarantee. I know it for sure. I can just feel it. You've been listening to Master Your Finances. I'm Kurt Baker with Tim Wright. You can listen to this podcast at masteryourfinances.us and subscribe. Remember, together we can master your finances. You can enjoy financial peace of mind.
That was this week's episode of Master Your Finances with Kurt Baker, Certified Financial Planner Professional. Tune in every Sunday at 9 a.m. to expand your knowledge in building and managing your wealth. Missed an episode? No worries. You can subscribe to a free weekly episode of Master Your Finances to listen to on your favorite podcasting platform. Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever. Master Your Finances is underwritten in part by Certified Wealth Management and Investment and Rutgers University. Rutgers offers continuing studies programs for adults who need flexibility. Want to add new skills to your resume? Take a continuing studies course at Rutgers University.